Okay, so this is what you see when you open the BalloonBuilder Arch Builder. So the default mode is column, but you can change the mode to arch. Different shapes of arches, even custom path or like organic shape. And there's also organic mode over here, but in default we are working in classic mode. There are different kind of sculptures. You can also create ring column, which means that we are working in doublet rings. So if you take a look at this in 3D, there are actually doublet rings. Each of the 2 layers are created using doublet ring. So if I just define the layer number to 2, it shows you a single layer of doublet square packing. So, but the default balloon, let's say 11 layers. You can define the number of balloons per layer. Let's use 4 for now, just the default setup. And for in the size pattern, you can actually define if you want to add a top balloon. So we want to add a top balloon, and the default size is 40 centimeters. If you go to inches, this is now about 16 inches. So let's change this to 30 inches, and the balloon size goes to 8. Maybe a little bit smaller top balloon, let's say 28 inches, for example. This is okay. So just really basic column. You can have different kind of top balloons, so like foil star. If you have a foil balloon, you may need to, if you have 11 layers, you may need to flip the column this way, so it actually rotates 45 degrees so that the foil balloon sits between the two balloons over there. But this is the default setting. And then you can foil hard. You can have a spray of 260s. Change the size to a little bit smaller. I have 260 balloons. And of course, we can also have foil numbers, for example, 26-inch numbers. And we want to have 2 numbers, so we can have 1 and 0. They are automatically organized properly over there. And again, if you have a foil balloon, just flip the column this way, so the foils sit in between the latex balloons. So that's the basic setup. And we can also have letters or big numbers. And yeah, latex balloon with actually bubble on top. Change the top balloon color to, for example, gold. You can see the difference. Now it's bubble is on top, and if we change the type to just latex, you can see that there's a difference over there. So now we have the top balloon, and actually in this case I want to have white top balloon, and also the pattern I want to use only 2 colors for the column, and I want to use white and this setup. And top balloon size I want it to be 26 inches. And over here we have a client asking to set a vinyl logo in the top balloon, so just add vinyl sticker, edit sticker, and we upload an image. So this is just a simple JPEG image, and we can zoom in to adjust the size. I think like for the logo, this might be okay. And then I want to remove the background, so I just pick transparent color like so, and then I need to adjust the tolerance a little bit so the actual white border goes away completely. So I just increase this a little bit, like adjust. I think that's okay now. Then you can also overlay some text if you want, but I think this is now okay. So I just apply sticker. Okay, the size is a little bit too small, so I will just edit and increase the size like so. So we have now the logo nicely in there. Of course, we can also adjust the colors of the column now to match actually with the logo. So we can just simply choose, for example, let's take Sempertex, navy blue, red, and lime green. And now we just define that we use 4 colors, and that's how it looks. Then you can export this directly as an image to add to your quote. You can actually also take a look at the export list. Depending on how complex the structure is, you can actually, let's say if we change the size pattern so that we have different sizes of balloons in the column, like for example this one. And we can also edit manually the size of the bottom and top layer, for example. So now it's looking quite okay. And for the sizes, you can choose which kind of pump you are using. So I'm using, for example, premium twin layer size 2, and I just want to show the balloon sizes in the 2D image on the right side. So this way it will tell you all the balloon sizes in each layer. Over here, the layers are identical in the whole area, so it doesn't define all the layers between here. If these would be different, it would tell you the exact size of each layer. But over here you can see that, okay, these are now similar, so this is 3.9 inches for all of these. So you get the size, 8.3 inches, type of balloon, 12-inch round, and then timer setting for your premium twin layer size 2. So it gives you 2.1 seconds for the top, 0.7 seconds for the next layer, and then for these it's 0.4 seconds. Yeah, everything is calibrated for my own pumps, and they should be quite close to any pump, so it really has only minor differences. But we will be adding also a calibration tool that you can use to calibrate your own pump. So the values you get over here will be just for your own pump. Also the balloon brand and texture changes, so it affects the sizing. So you can't always trust 100% for the timer settings, but this is like a very good starting point. Okay, so if you now want to export the image or the whole design, you can, over here you can define which images you want to export. 2D, 3D, balloon table. So 2D image is the one that shows now also the sizes, because we have defined that the sizes are shown. We can also, let's go back, and we can also define to show the dimensions of the column, so the height of the actual column and height, total height, including the top balloon. also the total width of the design. And yeah, also if you want to use, like if you want to print the design in just black and white, you can also show color labels. And if you want to export the image as a vector image, you can just use flat 2D colors and export this as a vector image. And yeah, so depending on what you have chosen to show in 2D, everything is also shown in the image in the export over here. So the 3D image is shown over there, and the list of all balloons, number, size, brand, everything is shown over here. And each layer, if you want, you don't need to show that if you don't want, but the layer grid will show you each layer of balloons. So the size of the balloons and type of the balloons, timer setting, and the order of balloons in each layer if you want. So this is very simple design, so it would not be needed. But if you have a complex design with different kind of structure, you may need to have each layer separately. So that's the way we could quickly design a column for customer with the custom vinyl image. Is can actually add a 3D background image, so we can upload a background image for the 3D view. I will close the 2D view now so we can actually see the whole image. So over here you can adjust the size of the background image. You can move it the way you want, and you can also adjust the focal length of the actual balloon image. So if you take it like taken the photo with the phone, of course it should match with the photo used for the background to actually be realistic. So for example, portrait 80mm lens would be nice. So you can then adjust the position. Actually, you can also enable or disable the shadows. So if you want to have the column, for example, in the corner over here, you can simply disable the wall shadow. So it will show you only the shadow over there. And if you want to rotate the design a little bit, you can also do that over here. Just move it, position it where you want it to be, there. Also scale it properly, just zoom in to increase the size, decrease the size. So, and then if you want to adjust the direction of the light, colors of the light, everything, it's all adjustable over here. So for example, the sunlight is now the main light. So we can actually increase the intensity of sunlight. Just so now the intensity of the sun is much higher, so it's brighter. You can also put the sunlight off completely, and it's just basically you lose the three-dimensionality of the image because it now only like gives you a uniform lighting from everywhere. So this is needed for actually to show the three-dimensionality of the design. So yeah, you can also rotate the light direction. You can also add spotlights. So right now we have actually left spotlight. We can also change the color of the spotlight. Let's keep it all red. Just move these to 0 and refresh, and you can see the red light coming from this side. And if we change the sunlight to a little lower intensity, You can see better the red light coming from there. You can also rotate the spotlight. You can increase the power of spotlight. You can add another spotlight to the other side and have it, for example, let's keep that blue. So you have red light on the left side and blue light on the right side. You can see how it gives the white balloon some shading over there. So this is just like a basic lighting setup, and actually in the scene builder, which is the actual 3D software part of BalloonBuilder, you can do a lot more with the lights, and the light adjustment is real time. Over here you need to adjust the lights and then refresh just to keep the software a little bit lighter. But the scene builder is actually, you can adjust the lighting in real time, and everything is basically similar settings with a little bit more lights, a little bit more free way to adjust the lighting and everything. But yeah, over there you can also use more than one design. In the Arch Builder, you can only have one design in the 3D view at once. So if you want to export this into Scene Builder, you can just simply export the 3D model over there as a GLB and then import that into Scene Builder and build the scene in there. So then you can, for example, duplicate 2 columns, arch, wall, even sequin wall panels, like shimmer wall panels, or all kinds of different non-balloon elements.